What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't already signed up for yet, you're just making bad life choices. Go to scoresandodds.com and just get signed up there. We have all sorts of picks from all of your favorite RG personalities. I got pitcher props. We got Dean. We got Noto. We got everyone under the sun. Plus, we have all sorts of tools like this little prop shopping tool right here, where you can see exactly what RG projections has for each player in each of these categories here. Plus, you can sort by what RG projections like the most. As we can see, Bruce Brown's projection for assists, we like 3.54, and the line sitting at 2.5. See a total of 1.04 difference. Plus, you see where the best lines are for each side of the prop. As you can see, DraftKings has 2.5, over 2.5 at minus 160, the under at points bet of minus 3.5 at minus 150. So it's that simple. Plus, you can sign up, go to scoresandodds.com/Discord, get signed up for the Grants Action Lounge, where I'm throwing in all the bets that you see on the show every single day and all the bets that I bet throughout the day. I just threw the link into chat there. So you can go get signed up there. This is the last week that we will have it as free. Next week, it is moving over to premium. So still time to get in there, make enough money to pay off your Scores and Odds subscription. But we got a full day. We have 2 basketball games and a bunch of baseball games. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to be just going pick by pick since there's too many sports to go on right now. Starting off with Evan Mobley over 2.5 assists. You can get it plus 145 over at MGM. Let's see. Let's look at Mobley. He hasn't hit a huge rate recently, but there's a playing game here. Good matchup going up against Brooklyn. Last time we went up against Brooklyn, 3 assists. We see that he's kind of all over the place in terms of assists. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 2, 6. So hitting it about a 43% clip over his last 7 games here. And he's probably going to play a boatload of minutes here. He just came back from injury. But this is a game where they need to win it to get into the playoffs. If not, then they're in an absolute must win. In the next game here, that's how the playoff seeding works. So I like Evan Mobley getting this large amount of juice here at minus or plus 145 over at MGM. Next up, we got Jose Quintana over 4.5 strikeouts here. We'll pull up Plate IQ, which if you don't already know about it, fantastic tool here. Jose Quintana plays for Pittsburgh. I almost forgot about that. Going up against his old team here, not a huge sample size, but still decent amount of strikeouts in this lineup here. Quintana absolutely just destroys lefties, just close to a 40% K rate. 23.8% K rate going up against righties. Probably going to end up facing 8 left or righties in this spot here, but I really don't care. Not a ton of low strikeout bats. If Madrigal ends up in the lineup, that's not a good thing, but still, he can end up with over 4.5 here. First start of the season, so that's the reason why the number is so low. You can get it at plus 115 over at Caesars. Next bet, you got Yusei Kikuchi over for New York, or over for Toronto, going up against New York. And Kikuchi, he tends to get a little bit wild going up against righties, as you can see, close to a 10% walk rate there. And we look at the Yankees lineup, lots of walks in there, 14 or almost 15 rather, 12, 13, 10, 15 for Gallo. Gallo's the one high strikeout lefty, which is where Kikuchi excels, striking out lefties here. So I like the under. They know how to work the count. Not a ton of high strikeout bats outside of Gallo, who will likely be batting lower on the lineup. Even if he doesn't get in the lineup, that's even better. Under 4.5, got it at plus odds, plus 100 here. So I think it's well over a 50% chance of happening. So I'm rolling with the under. Next up, Wander Franco over 1.5 total bases. We look at his matchup, pulling it up right now. Tampa Bay going up against Oakland, going up against Olier. He's not great. This is his first start in the majors, owned a 3 ERA in the minors and AAA this last year. And I believe he owned over a 4 xFIP. He's projected to be around a 4.5 xFIP type of guy. Wander Franco, solid overall hitter, going to put the ball in play a lot. 1.5 total bases at plus 110. A little bit too small for me here. Next up, we got Zubac over 19.5 points, rebounds, assists. That's for tomorrow, that's for today. Going up against Cat. Too low of a number here. We see that he's been playing some minutes, and in a matchup versus Cat, they're likely going to need him for some more minutes here. We look at his numbers. 12, 15, 13, 8, 16, 11, 11 points. And the rebounds have been in double digits recently. So double-digit points, double-digit rebounds, plus you can get the assists added on there if you want to go points and rebounds. That's fine. I went points, rebounds, assists. Got the line at minus 105 over at Caesars. Next up, we have Cat over 27.5 points. He's been a little bit up and down recently, but should end up playing close to 40 minutes. We have him projected for 38 here. Obviously, playing game. They need to win this one. So should see a 6-minute increase. We look at how he's been doing lately. 21, 26, 28, 32. So get the extra 6 minutes in there in each of those matchups. Probably would have ended up with the over. We have him projected for 28. Getting this line at plus 120. Big potential ROI on the over. Big ROI here. And then now I'm just going to show you some of the random boosts that I have over at Caesars. So the easiest way to do this, Hornets, Spurs, just cross-reference it with another website, DraftKings, easy one. So we see it's at plus 116, where you're getting it boosted plus 160. When I hit it was plus 595. So moving the other direction. Still don't mind it. Offers nominal value when you consider the amount of points that you get with a 6-1 odd spot. Next up, Clippers, Cavaliers. I believe that was the other one. That line has moved quite a bit. I'm removing that. I don't think that's a good bet anymore. When I hit it, it was a whole lot different. So, yeah, sometimes lines move. Looking at the rest of these, Mariners, Athletics, Astros. So you cross-reference this. Mariners, Athletics, Astros, all the way down here. Comes out to plus 844. I got it plus 900. Zero juice line is probably plus 890, I want to say. So because of that, you're still getting points over on Caesars. For that, you'll roughly get 2% back in points. So it makes for a solid overall line. Bucks, Mavericks, Raptors. This is the best boost over there right now. The no juice line, I haven't figured it out. Well, I can't parlay the lines here over on DraftKings, but if we look at it, plus 130, plus 160, looking at the series props, I know those aren't the lines, but it's just the easiest way to do things. We look at series props, and it was, what was it? Bucks, Mavericks, Raptors. So Mavericks now all the way up to 210. Wow. Bucks, obviously a clinch. So plus 150 and plus 210 roughly comes out to around that number now. The Mavericks line has actually moved, but so I'm staying away from, I'm not suggesting that one anymore. Bregman over 1.5 total bases. And guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead and feel free to throw them in chat. I'll get to them throughout the show, or go ahead and throw them in the Discord, get through them throughout the show. Again, these are all bets that I have made. Bregman over 1.5 total bases. Scrolling over here, going to Houston. Draws a matchup versus Mad Bum. Mad Bum far past his prime here. We look at Bregman's numbers versus lefties over the past year and a half. Not a ton of power, but he should be doing better here. Low strikeout rate. Bumgarner giving up a boatload of hard contact, 41.9. Lot of fly balls, 44.8. Not a lot of ground balls. Isn't walking a ton of guys, but isn't striking out a ton of guys here. So over 1.5 total bases, you can get at plus 105 over at DK. That's a solid bet. This is one of my favorite ones here. We have Nolan Arenado over 1.5 total bases, getting it plus 105. Lynch is not good. He is very, very bad versus righties. 17% K rate, 40% fly ball rate, 46% hard contact rate. We look at Arenado, one of the best hitters versus lefties last season. 354 ISO, 416 WOBA. We're getting plus odds at over 1.5 total bases. Does not make sense to me. I know that they're the road team. I know he's batting fourth, so may or may not get that fifth at bat there, but they're the heavy favorite. So Arenado over 1.5 total bases, easy money there. George Springer over 1.5 total bases. Scrolling on over to Toronto here, matchup versus Cortez. Cortez may strike out a lot of righties, but gives up a ton of fly balls, a ton of hard contact. So extra base hits should be there. Something that gets overlooked a lot of times is Springer is the guy that is leading off for Toronto. So leading off on the road team, 5 at-bats is pretty darn likely in this spot here. Springer, great numbers versus lefties. Does strike out a whole lot, which doesn't bode well. That's why we're getting this at plus 120 here. But Springer, 282 ISO, 407 WOBA versus lefties since beginning of last season. Not a huge sample size, but solid overall hitter. Solid overall lineup. Should get the 5 at-bats here. Really like that bet. Lauri Markkanen over 22.5 points, rebounds, assists over at Caesars, plus 100. Looking at that, pulling it up now. They're going to need his usage. They're going to need his offensive ability. Going up against Brooklyn here, his numbers or minutes have kind of been all over the place. This is a spot where they're likely going to need him a decent amount here. 23, 17, 25, 16, 10 total points, plus getting 4 to 7, 4 to 9 boards a game, plus maybe 1 or 2 assists a game. So line sitting at minus 100 at 22.5. He can easily end up getting there on points. Again, good matchup going up against Brooklyn. Should be a fairly close game here, even though the spread's sitting at 9.5. I think it's going to be closer. I think that Brooklyn's not as good as people believe them to be. I think Cleveland's better. So should be a close game, and Cleveland's going to be playing for everything they possibly can. Last 2 bets I have right along the same line. FanDuel, Cardinals minus 2.5 runs on FanDuel, plus 182. Cardinals minus 3 runs, plus 240 over at Caesars. Both of them solid lines here. Like just looking at this matchup, as I said earlier when I was talking about Arenado, Hudson, way better pitcher than Lynch. Like it's not even remotely close. Let's pull up the last 2 seasons for Hudson because he doesn't have a sample size. Not really different. Yeah, Lynch has just been awful. Like he's been awful. And they're going to platoon out everyone. Lynch is solid versus lefties, even though we don't have a big sample size. He's been solid in small one. Just awful versus righties. He's going to get blown up here because they have Carlson, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Arenado, Pujols, even though he's super old, DeJong, Molina, Bader, Edmund. All their guys are great versus lefties. And Lynch is just an awful lefty. It's being played over in St. Louis. So minus 2.5, minus 3. Go in on that. Currently 2-0 on alternate run totals, plus 2.8 units so far on the season. Checking out the monthly summary. This month has not gone great. It hasn't gone terrible. Sitting at plus 1,700, which is slightly over 3 units. 6.08% ROI last month. I'm sitting right around a 7% ROI, plus 13.5K. Month before that, plus 3K, 3.44% ROI. So go ahead and looking at all these. Roughly up 36 units so far doing this. It's gone pretty solid overall. So yeah, that's basically it. Again, guys, go sign up for scoresandodds.com. Go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Get in the Grants Action Lounge before it goes premium next Monday. We've crushed it over there, I think. We've crushed it on the show. So this premium membership will pay for itself very quickly. We're up 36 units. So if you're betting $10 units on this show alone, you should be up $360 over the course of the last 2.5 months. So real simple, get signed up. It pays for itself. No matter how big your unit is, whether it's 10, whether it's 50, whether it's 100, whether it's 200, whether it's 1,000, it will pay for itself. But that's the show, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back on again tomorrow. We're going to be talking a whole lot of NBA futures. Chop and Keith Eister both going to be on it. So it should be a fun show. I'm out of here. See you, kids.